Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jayo Girivaradari, Jayo Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jayo Girivaradari, Jayo Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Shilo Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava Sasaki ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Nisimhadev Bhagavana ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Parvijakacharya, Shota, Shri Srimad His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Parvijakacharya, Shota, Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prem se kako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Govindan Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mathura Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Brika Midanga ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktavrinda ki jai, Gaur Pramanande, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. Chapter number 22, verse 17. Yam harmya-pṛṣṭhe kvaṇad-aṅghri-śobhāṁ vikrīḍatīṁ kanduka-vihvalākṣīm viśvāvasur nyapatat svād vimānād vilokya sammoha-vimūḍha-cetāḥ. Yam harmya-pṛṣṭhe kvaṇad-aṅghri-śobhāṁ Yam harmya-pṛṣṭhe kvaṇad-aṅghri-śobhāṁ vikrīḍatīṁ kanduka-vihvalākṣīm vikrīḍatīṁ kanduka-vihvalākṣīm viśvāvasur nyapatat svād vimānād viśvāvasur nyapatat svād vimānād vilokya sammoha-vimūḍha-cetāḥ vilokya sammoha-vimūḍha-cetāḥ yam harmya-pṛṣṭhe kvaṇad-aṅghri-śobhāṁ vikrīḍatīṁ kanduka-vihvalākṣīm viśvāvasur nyapatat svād vimānād vilokya sammoha-vimūḍha-cetāḥ. Prabhus.
harmya-pṛṣṭhe kvaṇad-aṅghri-śobhāṁ vikrīḍatīṁ kanduka-vihvalākṣīm viśvāvasur nyapatat vilokya
sammoha-vimūḍha-cetāḥ. Matajis. Okay. Yam hum harmya-pṛṣṭhe on the roof of the palace. kvaṇat-aṅghri-śobhāṁ whose beauty was heightened. But I'm sorry, I didn't bring my glasses, and this is so small, so I have trouble reading. By the tinkling ornaments of her feet. It's okay. Vikrīḍatīṁ, playing. Kanduka-vihvala-akṣīm, with eyes bewildered, following her ball. Viśvāvasuḥ, Viśvāvasu. Nyapatat, fell down. Svāt, from his own. Vimānāt, from the airplane. Vilokya, seeing. Sammoha-vimūḍha-cetāḥ, when whose mind was stupefied. Translation. I have heard that Viśvāvasu, the great Gandharva, his mind stupefied with information, fell from his airplane after seeing your daughter playing with the ball on the roof of the palace. For she was indeed beautiful with her tinkling ankle bells and her eyes moving to and fro. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It is understood that not only at the present moment, but in those days also there were skyscrapers. Herein we find the word harmya-pṛṣṭhe. Hamya means a very big palatial building. Svād vimānāt means from his own airplane. It is suggested that private airplanes or helicopters were also current in those days. The Gandharva Viśvāvasu, while flying in the sky, could see Devahuti playing ball in the room on the roof of the palace. Ball playing was also current, but aristocratic girls would not play in the public place. Ball playing and other such pleasures were not meant for ordinary women and girls. Only princes like Devahuti could indulge in such sports. It is described here that she was seen from the flying airplane. This indicates that the palace was very high, otherwise how could one see her from the airplane? The vision was so distinct that the Gandharva Viśvāvasu was bewildered by her beauty and by hearing the sound of her ankle bells, and being captivated by the sound and beauty, he fell down. Kardama Muni mentioned that the incident as he had heard it. One more time translation. I have heard from Viśvāvasu, the great Gandharva. His mind, stupefied with infatuation, fell from his airplane after seeing your daughter playing with the ball on the roof of the palace. For she was indeed beautiful, with her tinkling ankle bells and her eyes moving to and fro. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtabhuta Shimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Pachani Vishesha Nyapat Pashacha Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadata Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm sorry. Every time when you prepare class, you have the checklist to check before you come here. You know, I'm bringing this, and that, and sometimes you forget the most important thing. There are glasses. You know, I'm becoming old man, so it's very hard to read small letters. That's why I make my notes like 16 number now, and every year is one number more, so 17, 18. So please forgive me for not doing that perfectly. Okay. So it's very interesting part of Srimad Bhagavatam that we are at. First of all, I was laughing, to be honest, when I saw which verse I got, because just imagine the picture. I mean, what is happening at the moment. We have Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni is explaining why he believes that Devahuti is supposed to become his wife, why he believes that she is the right girl for him, why he believes that she was the one that he was offering prayers and praying to Lord for. And he's explaining one very interesting situation happened. It was Satya Yuga. Obviously, in the verse 3:21:8, it was written that this whole situation happened during Satya Yuga. And there is also explanation that what Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that even that time there were some skyscrapers. I mean, Srila Prabhupada is calling them skyscrapers. Let's call it high buildings, right? And those buildings, they have beautiful roofs and they were like palaces. So it's not that skyscrapers or it's some modern technology or anything. Actually, probably in Satya Yuga world was much more beautiful place to be, and buildings were much more beautiful than today. So in generally, you can imagine that kind of place with beautiful palaces, with beautiful nature, and then you have flying demigods, Gandharvas, you know, in their vimanas, right, flying around. And it was a very sunny day, and then the Gandharva Viśvāvasu, he was flying his plane, and he's seeing beautiful Princess Devahuti. She's playing the ball, right, on the top of her building, and he's falling down from Vimana, out. Bewildered by her beauty, bewildered by her purity, you know. So this is those kind of levels of purity and beauty was actually something which only you can see in Satya Yuga, probably, maybe beginning of other yugas. But Satya Yuga is the place where everything was looking much more different and much more pure and beautiful. So that scene for me, it was like, you know, just seeing that Vimana flying and you see beautiful Gandharva and he's watching and he's falling down. It was like, you know, this is interesting verse, what I should talk about, you know. So the point is that Srila Prabhupada mentioned that very first skyscraper, right? That only, he mentioned it at the present moment, but in those days also there were skyscrapers. Herein we find the word harmya-pṛṣṭhe, and harmya means a very big palatial building, right? Even when we was reading explanations about how Mayapur or Navadvip town in that place was looking 500 years ago, we found some very interesting informations that this was not village with some simple huts, few simple huts and a lot of cows around. No, it was very developed educational city at that time. I mean, people from all around Bengal, they were sending children to come here. There was, a lot of schools, a lot of education going on. It was like a center, like university city. I mean, it was not university, of course, but it was a very developed schools at that time, and there was a lot of inhabitants, and a lot of things were going on, happening around. And also, I heard one time my spiritual master, Jayapataka Maharaj, mentioning that it was not just ground floor buildings, there were also, different levels and everything. It was a very interesting place to be, 500 years ago. So, now to be able to understand the importance of this moment in Srimad Bhagavatam, I want us just to make a quick look into whole third canto, right, how we came to this, because through that explanation we will find out actually all our characters, who they were. And I know there was some of this information mentioned in the previous class, previous days, but there is no harm to repeat, just I will try to do it in little bit different way. So Shishuta Goswami right now is, with Shaunaka Rishi and other sages at Naimarshiranya forest, and Shishuta Goswami is explaining about what Shukadev Goswami told to Maharaj Parikshit, right? Shuta Goswami was actually the second one who were telling Srimad Bhagavatam. First one was Shukadev Goswami. He was just repeating what he heard, what he saw. So a large part of third canto is about discussion between Vidura and Sri Maitreya. Now we will just go, in the few lines through the history, how it happened. And then we will come to this particular point in Srimad Bhagavatam and continue developing this topic. So during their discussion, they mentioned Swamyabhuva Manu and his wife also Shatarupa, their daughter Devahuti, and she is sister of Priyavrata and Uttapanada, and Kardama Muni also is one of the main characters of our story. So now you all know that Vidura, how everything started actually. Vidura is younger brother of Dhritarashtra, and in one moment when the Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana particularly, they took the kingdom from Yudhishthir on one very unfair way. After gambling the whole night, basically Yudhishthir, he lost his kingdom and he went to the forest. And after some time Yudhishthir came back from the forest and he claimed his kingdom back. But then Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana particularly, who was basically main advisor of his father, and his father was listening him and following everything blindly, as he was really blind, they were saying, no, we are not giving you anything, you don't deserve anything, you lost it and that's it, it's ours. So one more time Dhritarashtra wanted to check whether they're doing the right thing or not. And he called Vidura, his younger brother, to come. He's asking for advice, right? We all know that part of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vidura came, and he was saying, look, it's not right what you're doing. You need to give back Yudhishthir what is rightfully his. And this is how I see things. Then Duryodhana became so angry. He was asking Vidura to remove. He was asking Dhritarashtra to ask Vidura to leave the palace. Basically, he was telling only what you should give to Vidura is to air to breathe, nothing else. Just remove him out. We don't want to see him anymore. So Vidura, as a great personality, he went for the pilgrimage, right? He was going on for a long time, visiting different holy places. In that time also, there were many developed holy places, and many of those that you can visit today, they've been available that time, 5,000 years ago. So in the text 3.1.21 from this particular third canto, right, we see at the place of pilgrimage at Prabhasa. Prabhasa is a very interesting place. It's situated very close to Dwaraka. It's actually in Gujarat, right, on the west side of India. And they're saying that at that time, 5,000 years ago, there was explanation that it was only around 24 miles from Dwaraka. So basically, whoever went to visit Dwaraka, it was just few hours walking to come to see Prabhas, and Prabhas was very important place, and Saraswati River was also flowing there, and so it was place where when Vidura came over there, he find out what really happened, because he never witnessed the Kurukshetra battle, right? So he find out that his all relatives passed away, died, from Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra's side and many from Pandava's side also. So this is where he received that news, and then after that he met Uddhava first. Uddhava, who was very close associate of Shri Krishna, of Lord Krishna. He was there since he was 5 years old, next to Krishna, all the time. Almost all the time he was with him during all different pastimes and during those early years. And Uddhava told him, he was asking where I want to find out the truth, about absolute truth. I know that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but I would like to hear everything. I would like to hear about absolute truth, about beginning of universe, about Brahma and Shiva and everything else. He was telling, look, I know the right person for you. You should go to meet Maitreya Muni. Shri Maitreya Muni, actually just recently before that, he met Lord Krishna on the bank of the river. He was meditating, praying, and after so much of austerities and everything, Krishna revealed to him. He came to him, and he was telling him, all informations about the absolute truth and everything else. So Maitreya Muni was still available there, and Vidura, he decided to follow advice from Uddhava, and he went to meet Maitreya Muni, and the place where they met was actually at the Ganga River in Haridwar. They met each other, and they were talking about that. So basically, after going through different holy places, after visiting different holy places, Vidura was purified from all passion. It's written in 324, in the verse 324, it said that after visiting all holy places, all passion from Vidura disappeared, and he entered to the level of pure mode of goodness. And there is also further explanation. In the case, if you want to get rid of passion, of mode, of some how to say, different difficult situations in your life, different decisions when you have to make, it's good always to visit the holy places. And we will come back to that later because it's an important topic today. Amongst many topics of conversations between Vidura and Maitreya Muni, one was related about beginning of humankind, how humankind began. And particularly of our interest today is the part when Brahma creates the future husband and wife, Svayambhuva Muni and Satarupa. So Svayambhuva Muni and Satarupa, their birth were not ordinary birth. I mean, you know the story. Basically, they came out of the body of Brahma, the face of Brahma. They just showed up. Because Brahma was not happy, he already created so many different beings, but still there was no progress of expanding the humankind. It was still only very few humans, around the universe. So during that meditation, two of them, they came out and they immediately became connected as a husband and wife. And they start creating children, and this is how actually the whole universe went populated from two of them. This is how the whole expansion of human beings, that they start getting more and more on this planet. And while he was absorbed in contemplation and was observing the supernatural power, the two other forms were generated from his body. They are still celebrated as the body of Brahma. So basically both of them, we don't know. It's very mystical how they show up, but we call them as parts of Brahma's body itself. So after some time, the Svayambhuva Manu begot in Shatarupa 5 children, 2 sons Priyavrata and Utapanada, and the 3 daughters Akuti, Devahuti and Pashuti. So the father Manu handed over his first daughter Akuti to the sage Ruchi, right? The middle daughter Devahuti to the sage Kardama, and the youngest Pashuti to Daksha. So from them all the world filled with population. Now the question is actually who was Kardama Muni, and explanation about who was Kardama Muni you can find in 3.12.27. It's written, Sage Kardama, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma, Those all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma. And in the purport is written that even the most prominent existence of the two lower qualities, the modes of passion and ignorance, there is sometime a tinge of the mode of goodness. Therefore, all sons generated from the body of the mind of Brahma were in the modes of passion and ignorance, but some of them, like Kardama, were born in the mode of goodness. So Kardama Muni was actually born in the mode of goodness. He was the perfect example which kind of behavior you should expect from somebody that who is entirely in the mode of goodness. And he was in the mode of goodness his whole life, so basically it's very interesting to follow all his actions, reactions, discussions, to be able to learn what is the rightful thinking, what is the rightful doing in the mode of goodness if we want to go in that direction, if we want to developing. Then in 321.6, right, we are getting close, the great sage Maitreya replied, commanded by the Lord Brahma to beg children in the world, the worshipful Kardama Muni practiced penance on the bank of the river Saraswati for a period of 10,000 years. So before going into marriage, before doing any of other duties that was coming after in the life for him, he went to river Saraswati. That time Saraswati was flowing, right? It was visible. And he was sitting on the bank of Saraswati for 10,000 years, doing his meditation and doing his prayers. And he is not only one. We already know through Srimad Bhagavatam, through the history actually, that there were many sages who were doing a lot of austerities, even 60,000 years doing meditation and praying and everything. So the point is that time in Satya Yuga that was all possible. Then in 21a, then in the Satya Yuga, the lotus eyes Supreme Personality of Godhead, being pleased, show himself to the Kardama Muni and display his transcendental form, which can be understood only through the Vedas. So after 10,000 years, finally after all his austerities, Lord Krishna came personally in front of him. I mean, every time when we are doing different austerities in our life, in the right direction, in direction of developing the love towards the Lord, right, serving his lotus feet, sooner or later, if we are lucky, some life the Lord will present in front of us, and then that means that we are very close to the end of our journey. Basically, we will get the last final instructions, we will get the final recommendation, we'll get the eyes to see the truth, and then after that, it's up to us whether we continue our journey, which always end up on Vaikuntha planets, possibly even on the highest of Vaikuntha planets on Golokadam. So this is the level that Kardama Muni came up to. That means that he came to the level where Krishna showed in front of him. Kardama Muni that time, he didn't ask, okay, please, can you take me immediately? I want to go back. He knew that there are some duties he needs to fulfill before his last journey, right? So what he was actually asking Lord Krishna was to get a good wife. He was asking Krishna that, he wants to do his duty, he wants to do what is his dharma for this life, but, he would love, to have somebody who really will follow seriousness of attempts in Krishna consciousness that he was having in that life, and Krishna, he knew who is the right person for him, and he told him that Swayambhuva Muni will come with his wife and daughter, and he will offer the hand of his daughter to him. So Krishna was the one actually giving him information in advance before the whole event happened. Today we will discuss a little bit about the marriage. So I'm just going through this official part, and we're going to touch a few very important topics regarding that, marriage in Krishna consciousness. And basically in this particular case, Kardama Muni, he was the one who received information from the Lord himself. Who is the right person for him, right? Do you remember who was the person telling Devahuti who supposed to be her husband? Narada Muni, yes. He is always there somewhere, always coming, and giving you different informations, especially around Krishna Lila. He was being present on several occasions, talking to different actors and giving them information is important for the whole Lila. In this case, even in Satya Yuga, yes, he approached Devahuti, and he was telling that, oh, there is one very great, handsome Muni, sage, and I think that he's the right person for you. So if you're meditating, so basically Devahuti, she start planning her marriage and meditating on the person who is right for her even before she met him. And this is how Svānyambhuva Manu he approached to Kardama Muni. He was telling, oh great sage, thank you very much for receiving me today. Thank you for all glorifications you mentioned, because he was the one glorifying Svānyambhuva Muni first. And I came with one special humble request for you. I have a daughter, and she's really meditating on you, even without seeing you at all, and I think that her intentions are serious. So I want to ask you humbly if there is any chance to receive the hand of my daughter and become her husband and take care about her. Now this is also a moment that we should mention. We should mention one particular point, that Kardama Muni was from Brahmana. He was a Brahmana. He was from Brahmana family, and Svānyambhuva Muni was a Kshatriya, and the whole family actually came from Kshatriya background. And now we have the husband who is a Brahmana and wife who is coming from Kshatriya family. There is a recommendation in Shastras that actually, if the boy is from higher caste, he can take the girl from the lower level, but not the opposite. Opposite should not happen. That means if the boy is from Brahmana family, if the man is from Brahmana family, it is okay even to take the Kshatriya wife, and to take care about her, but then she will try to fulfill duties as a Brahmana's wife, not as a Kshatriya's wife, of course. So there is difference in that. She needs to be trained, she needs to learn, basically. But the opposite to happen, basically, the boy from Kshatriya family to come and to marry the girl from Brahmana family, that was not allowed at that time. So there are a couple of different rules that further we're going to mention that we're supposed to think about and somehow to follow. I know it's Kali Yuga, everything is different, but still it's good to have some balance, right? And it will help us to have stable marriages and stable lives in general. So now, Devahuti was one great example of the woman. I want to mention some very important things about ladies here today. A woman which was very, very beautiful, very cheerful, at the same time very determined, very serious, who didn't want to disturb even any other man on any other day. She was having very, very clear mind and fixed mind whom she wants to be her husband and which kind of life she wants to have in the future. So basically, the question is, I know that Chanaka Pandit, he mentioned that basically, how he mentioned why a woman being beautiful, that could be a curse. Right? This is one part of his meditation, because then it will attract a lot of attention from different men, from different even people with the wrong characters and everything. But at the same time, if a woman is beautiful and she's still doing everything rightfully, she's still having the mind fixed in the right way, in that case, everything can go fine. And there are a few more examples actually in the Shastras about some other beautiful women who are also being very strong and very serious and very good example for all ladies, basically, which kind of meditation they're supposed to have and how they're supposed to behave. So we have famous character, for example, from Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami, right? We mentioned him. He is the one who told first Srimad Bhagavatam, actually. And he was one time, as you all know, he was walking with his father, Vyasadeva, right, to the forest, and they came up to the river where several maidens were bathing. And when Shuka was a very specific person, we called those days, these kind of sages, Naga Babas, but in that time they were really Naga Baba. He didn't wear clothes, and he was young, he was very beautiful, but he was completely detached. His previous life he was a Shuka, he was actually the parachute, who was with Srimati Radharani's parrot. I'm sorry. I just went into visualization. Parrot, yes. Srimati Radharani's parrot. And he was going everywhere with her, and he knew all stories about Srimati Radharani. So he was all the time thinking about pastimes of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani, and he was in that mood his whole life. So for him, that was completely, appropriate, to go like that around. And he was going next to that river first, right? He went first to the forest. He was going next to that river, and those ladies were bathing, and they didn't even notice him. I mean, they didn't cover their bodies. They were just bathing, and he just walked past. He didn't even notice them at all. He just continued going. But then Srila Vyasadeva came. Soon as Srila Vyasadeva came, they immediately covered their bodies, and they were staying in the corner somewhere. And Vyasadeva was very curious. He saw the whole scene, of course, and he's a father, right? So he approached, okay, can I ask you something? I mean, when my son was going, just a few minutes ago, I mean, you didn't cover and everything was fine, but when I came, you all cover, and he was basically surprised by their contrasting reactions, and he asked them, right? And then they replied that Shuka was a true sage who perceived only the divine soul within them, and not their physical bodies or jantar at all. Therefore, they felt so self-consciousness in his presence. In contrast, they sensed Vyasa, despite the wisdom, still remained some worldly consciousness, and saw them as women, which necessitated their modesty. This is, I just wanted to quote, I don't want to speculate, that's why I was reading. So, the woman in the right consciousness can recognize from where different energies, danger comes, and needs to act according to that. So basically, when you feel some disturbance in the mind, when Shukadev was passing through, they were just feeling that their consciousness is raising, is growing up. It was amazing feeling. So even they forgot about bodily concept. Everybody was just on pure Atma level, completely. And it was amazing feeling for them. But soon as somebody's sending those material bright vibrations, then they started being careful and they started protecting their integrity. This is the way actually how the man also supposed to behave. I mean, we can put the whole blame on women, but the point is it's not true. Actually, one of the biggest things in Kali Yuga, because men are weak, I can tell you that much. And I mean, even there is explanation that later how the Kali Yuga progress, it's going to be very hard to figure out who is the man, who is a woman, right? Even now we are start witnessing that. I mean, you are all on the internet, I know that, so you can see all this changing bodies, operations and everything. It's very hard to recognize anymore some places around the world, around the globe. And this will grow more and more. It's going to be very hard to distinguish all that. Basically, Kali Yuga is the time when all these impurities happen and all these negative effects start pouring in. The second story is also very interesting. And do you like Diwali festival, right? Everybody likes Diwali, colors and everything. So basically during the Samudra Matan, this is when, there was the churning the ocean, right? The milk ocean. The goddess Lakshmi, she was the one who emerged from the ocean of milk. She was on the lotus flower. And she came down, she appeared, and after the other treasures emerged, she chose the Lord Vishnu as her husband. And they restored the prosperity in the universe, and this event is often recommended, as a story behind the Diwali festival, actually. But what was very interesting for us to learn from the behavior of Lakshmi, from Lakshmi Devi, is that when she emerged, all demigods, all sages, even the ocean, were captivated by her beauty, were captivated by her presence, and they all basically obey. But there is explanation that her beauty was so pure, it was not coming just out of senses, right? It was basically coming from inside. That beauty only was making one feeling in all those witnesses, and that was the feeling of respect. So beauty doesn't always necessarily needs to be the physical attraction. It could be respect for somebody's purity. I mean, just this morning I was talking to one devotee. It was very interesting. Recently I was reading, because I like math, physics, right? I was teaching math in school for years. So there was one thing in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's mentioned, there is the verse telling that the whole world is made from atoms, and between atoms there is the space, and the atoms are integrated to each other, right, creating objects. And these objects are becoming and disappearing sometime and changing the form. And this was, let's say that scientists are right that Bhagavatam is only 5,000 years old, right? I mean, it is, but actually the science behind atoms, it's much older than that. Quantum physics just came down to the same conclusion maybe 30, 40 years ago. Now they're developing theories about particles, about there is actually everything what you see right now, everything what you witness with your eyes, with your ears, it's just some atoms, and between them there is some space and nothing else. There's quite a lot of space actually between. So the point is that whatever we see is just a visual projection of something which is at the same time real, at the same time not real. But what is real are our emotional feelings, decisions, and our connection with the Lord. Those are the real things. Everything else is basically illusion, which tries to keep us as much as possible to the place where we are. The same thing is with beauty. I mean, with beauty, it's all about what is and how is our mindset, right? How we see the beauty. If we something that we want to enjoy, that's the wrong way of seeing the beauty. If we use beauty to serve the Lord and see how we can achieve that, that's the right way of seeing beauty, right? So I cannot remember how is being beautiful woman, because I don't remember some of those previous lives and everything. But the point is, for example, let's say we have a city of Mayapur, right? I mean, this is amazing thing about Mayapur is that it's the first project of that kind of nature in ISKCON. We cannot call Mayapur a temple project. It's not a temple project. I mean, you know, we were working the master plan. It is a city project. It's completely different perception. Right? One thing is developing temple of 200, 300 devotees. Another thing is developing city of 50,000 devotees. What was the desire of Srila Prabhupada? So the point is that perception is different. But if we create it to be a beautiful, if we add that beauty inside of that whole equation, it will become attractive for others to come, and then our preaching is successful. That's using the beauty, you know, for the sake of the sake of the Lord, right? For the sake of Lord's pleasure. Let's put it that way. Same thing is with all different aspects of our life. If somebody, for example, has a Srila Prabhupada, there is the famous story when they ask him why you are driving in Mercedes. I think it was Mercedes. I don't remember which car it was, but some very rich big. Rolls-Royce, yes, of course. Yes, it's Rolls-Royce. Every Mercedes is just ordinary, yeah. Rolls-Royce, yes, it was Rolls-Royce, right? So basically, Srila Prabhupada was driving, and they were asking him, Swamiji, I mean, they were expecting some old ambassador car like the one that we have next to Pushpa Samadhi, right? But that was a Rolls-Royce, and Srila Prabhupada said, what is the problem? I mean, you know, the Guru you need to treat like a god. Will you offer some small spachek or some small lada, you know, to Krishna if he comes? No, of course. He will choose the best possible car. So the same way you treat the spiritual master. So instead of me enjoying in my great beautiful Rolls-Royce, I offer that to the spiritual master, you know, and that's respect. And that's something which can bring us a benefit. So still we have the same beautiful thing over there. For example, you have a beautiful wife. Somebody maybe has, I see many young people here, it's a very interesting topic for them. It's not a curse. I mean, they can both use this in the right way. The point is that if she's chaste, if she's honest, if she's great, she can do a lot of preaching, and she can be attracted to other girls and trying to train them and preach to them how to become the great personalities and to great wives to their husbands and great disciples to their spiritual masters, and ultimately the great souls connected to the Lord. So it's all about motivation and the view, how we see the things. The trick of mind is that always the first thought comes to our mind is thought for sense gratification. It's always the first thing. Basically, if man is a man, a normal man with a normal knee, as soon as he sees the beautiful woman, is, I want to possess this. Or this is so good. This is the wrong way of doing things. We need to start cutting that part of us and try to change it, to transform it. It's very hard to cut, but you can transform it into something that is different way of appreciating the beauty. And if you add respect to that level, in that case, with full respect, you can approach and say, oh, there is some material beauty there, but definitely must be that there is some great spiritual beauty inside, and I respect that and offer my obeisances, and you move forward. Same like, Haridas Thakur, when Maya personality, she came personally in front of him. He didn't tell her, get away from here, what you're doing here, I don't want to look at you, please run. No, he just told her, I respect you, you're so great, so beautiful, please sit, just wait me to finish my rounds. Which was going on and on and on forever. But the point is that, he didn't, because even denial sometimes is attachment. You should know that. I mean, acceptance or denial, they're both on the just two parts of the same medal. The point is that non-reacting, that's the right way of achieving the right level of mode of goodness. So this is what is important to know. I mean, look, mind. You cannot imagine what we are doing right now in this part of the history, what's happening in the world right now. We're supposed to control mind, right? Our most important thing to do is, as devotees, is basically to try to make mind as our friend instead of an enemy. Now, what's happening? There is development of this AI. The whole thing in the world is about AI. Before just 7-8 years, I didn't hear this AI, never in my life. Now, 10 to 20 times per day. Seriously, different people talking AI this, AI that. There is, Gemini, this one. What is AI? Did you ever thought about that? They're creating some higher technology which is representation of mind, right? It's super developed mind without soul. Am I right? You have amazing mind with thousands and millions and billions, trillions of informations, uncontrolled by the feelings, by the soul. There is intelligence also. They put different formulas and different things, they teach AI to think like a man, so intelligence is there, even supreme intelligence. If you play chess with AI, he will beat you. It's not same like I was playing chess 20 years ago, you could beat machine, not anymore. So the point is that AI is developed so much, this is super developed mind without soul. It's dangerous thing. It's really dangerous. So that much we respect mind, that it's not enough our mind who is telling us whole day what to do, how to do, where to do. We need super mind, right? We need one super mind next door just for any case. If my mind is not perfect, I will use my super mind, then all two of us will do things together and life is going to be good. And first always starts with good things. He will help me writing. He will help me doing this. He will help me doing that. Same like with internet, right? Then you start going deeper, right? And that deepness is very deep. It's very hard to go out of it. Now, if I tell you, okay, can we please go? Now, let's go to Tarampur. Let's build some cabins and live without internet for 6 months together. Would it be easy task for you? Completely without internet. Just us. Japas, right? Some books. It's hard. It's hard. Even those days when we come for the class, we don't bring any more books with us, right? We bring mobile phones. So it's different. I mean, we are using technology in the right way, that's fine, but we should be very careful because I'm telling you, same like with beautiful women. Mind, when he sees something attractive, interesting, new, it's always going into that hole. And it's a trap that we need to be careful about. The last story basically I want to mention today is Gandhari. I mean, you all remember Gandhari. Gandhari, her chastity and self-control were so powerful that her gaze could burn even Yudhishthir alive if she was not content, if somebody didn't tell her not to do that. So basically, Gandhari was the wife of Dhritarashtra, and she was example, the biggest, probably the greatest example of chaste woman in Srimad Bhagavatam. And although she, from first view, it could look that she was on another side, right? She was with the Dhritarashtra. Generally, I mean, Gandhari was the one who is a representation of the chastity. And there is, in the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 113, 3 and 4, it's written, something that every lady should read, basically. The ideal chaste lady in the history of the world is Gandhari. She was the daughter of Maharaj Subala, the king of Gandhara. And in her maiden state, she worshipped Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is generally worshipped by Hindu maidens to get a good husband. Gandhari satisfied Lord Shiva, and by his benediction to obtain 100 sons, she was betrothed to Dhritarashtra despite his being blind forever. When Gandhari came to know that her would-be husband was a blind man, to follow her life companion, she decided to become voluntarily blind. So she wrapped up her eyes with many silk linens, and she was married to Dhritarashtra under the guidance of her older brother Shakuni. She was the most beautiful girl at her time. And she was equally qualified, but her womanly qualities, which endear every member of Kaurava court, but despite all her good qualities, she had the natural frailties of a woman, and she was envious of Kunti when they later gave birth to a male child. So basically, whatever Gandhari were doing, she was doing with the full power, and whatever come to her mind, this will happen, just because the chastity is giving woman such a power that it's unimaginable. And fortunately, she was not using that power to do something bad. Even when she comes to the edge of protecting her husband, right, Dhritarashtra, and she didn't have good feelings about Yudhishthir, somehow she was stopped, so she didn't do anything. But she did many great things with her power. And this is something very important for girls, for ladies to develop, and that's chastity. You have chastity, you will have enough strength to go in this life up to amazing heights, and basically to achieve same perfection as any man can achieve, and any other, the holy sage can achieve. Now, it's already time. I need to cut. I need to finish. There are basically 8 advices that I would like to give to those who would love to join the Grihastha ashram, or those who are already there. And it's very much connected to today's topic. So first of all, what is very important is that the man always needs to be very Krishna conscious. Same like Kardama Muni. He was praying to the Lord himself came and he revealed who's supposed to be his future wife. So in general, the man, if he wants to drive his family in the right path, in the right direction, needs to be Krishna conscious. Then second one is man should be very responsible. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned in one purport in letter in 1971 in Calcutta, that it is said that the Vedas that one should not take on the responsibility of parenthood unless he can deliver the child from repeated circle of birth, death, and disease and old age. So basically, it has to be, husband has to be very, of course wife also has to be responsible, but husband has to be very responsible, and his full meditation needs to be that he is there to help his wife and he is there to help his children. This is his priority, number one, service in the marriage. Then number 3, Prabhupada mentioned also a few times that man, if he wants to go in marriage, he needs to know how to earn money. That's also important. 25th November in Delhi, 75. And if anyone wants to marry, first of all, must show that he has some earning capacity. Not that because there are so many girls and I marry one to satisfy my senses. No. Grihastha ashram is a responsibility. That means if you want to take care about your family, you need to develop few skills. Same like if you want to be brahmachari, there are some skills to develop. You want to be sannyasi, there are many skills to develop. Vanaprastha, so many skills. Every single ashram is, you want to join, you need to develop certain skills for that. Otherwise, you're not going in the right direction. We are not going. Then, another thing that Srila Prabhupada mentions several times is that actually the husband is supposed to be older than his wife. This is where I made mistake. I'm joking. I mean, my wife is 1.5 years older, so in general it's okay. It can function. We're having great marriage, but sometimes it's not same. It's very hard to accept authority. It's very hard to balance, right? When you're getting older, it's more easy. But for example, in the beginning, it was like, come on, you're 1.5 years younger than me, so. So it's good, it's welcome, it's recommended by Srila Prabhupada that actually husband needs to be a little bit older than his wife. Actually, recommendation is 5 to 10 years, what I know through, from the Vedas. Then the next thing is both should be initiated. Prabhupada mentioned that. As far as your marriage, I have no objection if you marry a civil wedding, that's okay. But so for a Krishna conscious wedding, there is no question until the girl has been initiated. A letter, 22nd November 1971 in Delhi. So the point is that the best, if you want to have a Vedic wedding, if you want to have spiritual master to be present, to give blessings, to lead you, to help you, that actually both boy and girl or husband and wife, they are initiated both before the marriage. Not that they join the marriage then after to go for initiation. And that means they already on the serious spiritual path, and they showing their seriousness by being accepted by spiritual master. And that means they are ready enough, even on spiritual level, to jump into new situation, into that grihastha ashram, and to give best to help each other to go back to Godhead. That should be clear. Then number 6 is that every couple needs to spend 50% of earning for Krishna. What do you think about that one? As you are married, there is no need to separation as you are practicing artificially. You must live like a respected married couple and earn money as grihastha and spend 50% for Krishna. That is the real program. Letter, 28 May 1968, Alliston. So after this class, I need you to give me all your earnings and everything. We will check and verify with the temple. Spending money for Krishna doesn't necessarily mean always that you give everything for temple. If you're making some programs, if you're using your car for the Lord, if you're making prasadam and sharing with others, if you're giving donations and everything, that all counts in those 50%. Actually, ideal would be to come to 100%. Basically, everything what you'll earn to use for Krishna consciousness. That's perfection. And it's possible. Believe me, I saw couples who are really giving everything what they have, for Krishna, and great examples of that. Right. So, number 7 in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:12-27, Kardama Muni, basically after austerities, he went into completely, into mode of goodness. The both husband and wife should be in the mode of goodness. And number 8, they should visit holy places together, like Vidura visit, because that will help them to be always in the mode of goodness. Even Srila Prabhupada mentioned sometime, in the case if some couple has problems in marriage, which is necessary, sometimes it's happening. It's a normal thing. It's good always to visit the holy places, either separate or together, because holy places are giving that clarity. It's giving us the blessing to come to the level of goodness, which is above those clouds of ignorance and passion, so that we can see the clear situation, make the right decisions and right choices. Right? So it's necessary for all grihastha, even I know I'm coming from abroad, so many devotees from abroad, they always, dream to come to visit the holy places. For us who are here, it's more easy. So definitely we should not forget that, and we should take as a part of our culture. I'm sorry for keeping you so long. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.